trust.
Well, Daniel Mortimer is the Chief Executive of NHS Employers. Good morning to you.
Good morning, John.
Do you agree with what Dr. Brent was saying there? Government agrees that they work well beyond the standard working week?
So there's a couple of things. I think the first is that I do agree, and that consultant colleagues, the majority I've worked with, do work above and beyond what we expect them to. Where Dr. Brent and I do disagree is that we don't believe that in every circumstance these extra payments are generated by shortages. What your investigation showed was that half of doctors receive these additional payments and half don't. There are doctors who are working regularly at nights and weekends who aren't attracting the same rates of additional pay.
You mean they're not, well, but they'd be still getting overtime, surely. If you work extra hours and work through the night, you'd expect a bit of extra money for it.
And they do, and they get contractual rates. What you've found is that in certain situations where doctors are doing particularly non-emergency work, they're getting paid way above colleagues that are doing emergency work at the same time.
350 grand a year or something for one person?
Well, and that's the extreme example you found. I think in your investigation you found that the average was closer to £13,000 a year.
In extra payments, yeah.
In extra payments. What we need is a system that can be applied fairly across all doctors, that recognise the extra work they do and pays them an overtime rate when they are working nights and weekends, but does that in a way that's consistent and rewards the doctors who work the most onerous working
But they're
hours.
all set, all these rates are set by the local area, aren't they? By the local trust?
Yes, they are. That's the situation at the moment. We want to move to a situation where there is a standardised baseline nationally for all doctors that trusts can then apply. And we're working with our BMA colleagues to try and achieve that.
But that's going to be an awfully long job, and you'll get a lot of trusts saying, no, well, are saying, no way, we want to do it our own way. We've done it like that for a long time. Surely the long-term answer is not to have to rely on overtime, but to have enough doctors to be able to do the job.
So trusts aren't saying that they want to go their own way with this, John. They want a national contractual settlement on this issue so that they can apply something much more consistently. Clearly there will be situations, and again this is where Dr. Brent and I perhaps disagree in our analysis, there are certain situations where there are shortages. You know, that example in Lancashire sounds to me as if that is a situation where there aren't enough doctors in that particular specialty. But your investigation showed that payments are being made in specialties, in departments where actually there are enough doctors. And it's about the system that we apply and obviously the pressure that people are under to try and provide services.
So are you saying that across the board there are enough consultants to do the job without incurring overtime or having to incur overtime, except in exceptional circumstances? Obviously there will always be exceptions, but across the board there are enough consultants?
I think what I'm saying is that there are circumstances in some parts of the country and in some departments far more commonplace than those hospitals would like, where they are having to make those extra arrangements. But I am saying there are far more circumstances where actually the contract means that people have to make those additional payments.
But you're not saying that across the board we have enough consultants. You are saying we ought to have more consultants in certain areas.
I think there are absolutely colleagues in certain parts of the country who are finding it difficult to recruit doctors to certain specialties. In the same hospital or in the same institution, they'll be able to recruit doctors to other specialties. So we do face challenges in some parts of the country.
All right. Daniel Mortimer, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
26 minutes past 7 to Jonathan Ledger, who has the sport this morning.